Let that beat drop. Let that beat drop one more time, and we'll get it started here. Who is Jeff going to mush first? He ain't going to mush Cam Young, motherfucker. How about that? Sports clown. Bitch. All right, I thought I was going to pump up a little bit better than that. That's kind of weak. That's kind of weak. No, man, steak. Hello, everybody. Great graphic, huh?
Wonderful graphic.
Yeah.
Beautiful graphic.
Steak, you sound crispy. Snowman, good to see you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us last time as well. Steak, nice Washington Huskies hat and the camo sweater. You could barely see you. How's Chicago, by the way? You guys met up and had a beer earlier?
We did. We met up and had a beer at Jake Melnick's. Good wings, really good Guinness, top tier Guinness. I had two, and I normally don't have two Guinness, but it was a 2 Guinness day.
What do? You have one Guinness and then you pivot to a sunrise or a high noon?
Or the hard shit.
Or the hard shit. Yeah. Any spotted cow there?
I mean, I got a cow here for the Picket Happy Hour, but now they only sell cow in Wisconsin. You literally cannot legally buy it in the state of Illinois.
Yeah, that actually is kind of tough. What's up, everybody? We have brackets. We have brackets to talk. Selection Sunday just happened. I have so I don't see the spreads up yet on Pickett, but I have them up here. I'm gonna reference FanDuel. I'm sure lines are moving. Teams are getting hit. Snowman, did you put anything in yet?
I did. I've already placed a 3-unit mega win.
Oh! Okay, hold on. Let's not reveal it yet. I wanna build up to it. Let's crawl there. Let's stumble on it. All right, good to see everybody. Slack packs here before Jeff calls himself George Washington. I don't know that I get that joke. Jay Stone, Cosmic Cowboy here. Need some Duke hate. Why does the SEC and Big Ten have more teams? The Big 12 committee on edibles. We'll talk about that. Who made Steak look like Carlos Boozer in the graphic? Utah State won regular season conference title and got a 9 seed. They're not even hiding this clown show agenda anymore. Yep. Who's going to wish first? Fuck off. Evening, gents. Don't forget to like the stream. Good for the algorithm. Lubber Bear. We appreciate you. Kim Young won and still never smiled. Kind of love that. USA. I live 8 minutes from Jake Melnick's. Damn. QE is saying you ghosted him, by the way, Steak. That's tough.
I live like 8 minutes from Melnick's. What the fuck? Do you live in my building?
You might.
That's kind of cool. Could you imagine Snowman and QE? All right, let's get into it. And I guess the best way to do this is probably just start with a region, right?
Yes.
And then let's go from there. Okay. So we'll just go with top left.
How about instead of starting with a region, we all give our headline from the overall bracket, what our number one thought is from the overall bracket.
How about, okay.
In each region or just in general?
In general.
All right, I'll give you my first overall thought. I can't fucking believe Long Island is playing in San Diego. I think that is an absolute travesty. They are an overnight social media sensation, a small school that plays basketball in downtown Brooklyn that had 5 people go to their games for years. Then they packed it out in their conference championship. If they were anywhere in the Northeast, they would have 20 times the turnout. And I think, not even being selfish, I think the committee fucked up big time here because they are taking TikTok and Twitter by storm. You would have so many kids and teenagers in there in a round 1 game doing fins up, and it would be awesome because it'd be the first time you'd see a 1 seed maybe potentially be affected by the crowd of the 16 seed, but we're not going to see that. Terrible. But I don't have actually any real headlines to take away from this bracket, to be totally honest.
I got one. And
your turn next. Go.
I think it'll be some disagreement between me and Snow. I think Duke got hosed.
Really?
I think Duke got hosed. They got fucking Dan Hurley, Izzo, and Bill Self in their bracket, and their 8-9 is TCU versus Ohio State. Call me crazy, but TCU Ohio State winner doesn't sound like all that fun of a round of 32 game. And I've made my jokes about January, February Izzo and Kansas this year, but Self Hurley Izzo is a brutal bracket when you break it down.
I mean, I think they got a little bit screwed with St. John's being a 5. St. John's just won the Big East and beating UConn, and they somehow only got a 5 seed. But other than that, I mean, I just think that this Michigan State team and this UConn team both rely heavily on defense, and Duke, I think, out-defenses them and has better overall talent to get it done with. I mean, Michigan State is a very, very solid rebounding team. But assuming that, Duke's not getting Caleb Foster back, but assuming they get Ngungba back at relative good health, I just think that all those teams play relatively similar styles. I'm not giving Kansas any sort of chance in this March Madness. I would be completely shocked if they got even into the Sweet 16. So I'm not even considering the possibility they could beat Duke. But yes, they got good coaches, but do they have good teams?
Yeah. It's a fair question. I still think Duke's coming out of it, but man, there's no way they're happy about their draw, especially as the number 1 overall seed. But I don't think Kansas has a snowball's chance in hell either.
Yeah, my hot take is the committee tried to gift Purdue this run to the Final Four. This is probably the easiest bracket that I've seen. And they got a 2 seed and have to do this. Like, Gonzaga is by far the weakest 3 seed. And then BYU as a 6 seed, like, yes, sure, if Tabonsa pops off, maybe they're tough, but they've been playing really bad basketball for a couple weeks. Miami, I mean, there's just nobody that I fear in this conference. And then Arizona, Arkansas, Wisconsin, all get to devour themselves. They'd have to play whoever comes out of it.
Yeah,
Rigged for fucking Purdue, bro.
I 100% agree with you. Purdue got a beautiful draw, but I'm telling you this, they'll still find a way to fuck it up, and it's probably going to be against Gonzaga.
I listen, I got to tell you, one of my takeaways from watching basketball this weekend was that Purdue could be that team that just sleptwalked through the entire season and started to turn it up a notch and might continue to turn it up a notch. I can't stand this team, but they are talented. I mean, if Lawyer is hitting his threes, which he finally started to do, I don't know what he ended up doing today. I didn't really care because I watched Michigan play the last 2 games. They did not give a fuck about winning the Big Ten. They just did not. Kudos to Purdue. I'm not going to overreact though. Snowman, I kind of agree with you there. I guess I don't fear Gonzaga. Is Jay Huff, I think that's his name, is he going to be back? He's one of their better players from what I understand.
I don't know if he's back. Isn't that a dude for the Pacers?
No, maybe it's not Jay Huff then. What's the guy's name that I'm talking about? The guy who's injured.
Huff?
Is that who it is? Jay Huff's in the NBA. Thank you, Pickett Sports. You don't need to question mark it, Trump. If you know what I'm talking about. Does anybody know who the fuck I'm talking about? The guy's been hurt.
That's he's been out. He's been out for a few months. I'm not sure, to be honest.
Okay, well, apparently that's important. And all I'm doing is just repeating what people told me when I was asking about teams to pick to win it all. Bad take. Yaxel looked ready to die about it. Interesting. I don't know about that. Clough. Yeah, Clough is he's a weird player. He serves a purpose. I don't know. Purdue's an interesting team. But I was going to say this. You don't think Miami or Missouri is kind of an annoying 7-10 to play in the second round, either of those teams? Like,
oh yeah. Especially because with Purdue, what I feel like with this Purdue team, if they can dominate on the rebounds, if they can just destroy the glass, they're in a great spot. But Miami is a pretty big team into themselves. They play on the inside. They got a really solid center, really solid power forward. Malik Renew, an Indiana transfer, has that innate hatred for Purdue. That's going to make him elevate his game to the next level. I think if they get Miami, then Miami's a very real threat because Jay Lucas is a really good coach. His first ever March Madness. Who knows what type of name he'll make for himself? But he's coming from that Coach K, John Shire coaching tree. We know how he's had experiences winning, and he's got a very solid team that I do think matches up well size-wise, but you have to compete against Purdue.
Yeah, I like Miami, Missouri at the 7-10. What is the spread of that game?
I mean, Missouri's got a win against Florida, win against Vandy. Not saying Vandy's a top-tier team by any means, but that win against Florida means I don't think you'd want to play them either, honestly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't disagree with what Snowman's saying about it's a favorable draw. But
for Purdue?
Yeah.
Really?
Well, that's what his take was.
Compared to the others? Because I think it's a favorable draw for a 2 seed compared to the others for sure.
Like, I'd rather play the winner of UCLA, UCF. What's another 7-10? St. Mary's, Texas A&M, Kentucky, Santa Clara. I don't know. Miami, Missouri just sound like they're just not like schizophrenic, but they're scary. I don't know. They scare me. They could. One of those teams. I hope it's Miami. I took Miami. They're not going to win it all, but I watch Miami play. I like that guy down low that you said. So he can fuck with Clough, Oliver Clough. But anyways, okay. Let's start with the regions. Duke, Siena against. We're not going to talk too much about that, but Ohio State, TCU, 8-9. I agree with. I think Steak. You said this. This sucks for Duke. I think both these teams look good. Ohio State's playing their best basketball. TCU, no slouch. They ended the season really strong. I think this is a very, very tough round of 32 game for Duke. I wonder what the spread will be, but right now it looks like Ohio State is up to 3.5. Steak. Oh no, sorry. 2.5, but it's juice. So it might be on the move. Total's 145.5. Where would you go with this game if you had to go Ohio State, TCU?
It's really hard. It's do you take the sample size of the last 10 games? For Ohio State, it's kind of easy because they got healthy. So you can point to why they immediately started playing better basketball. But for TCU, it's tougher because what's the reason TCU looks so much better in the last 10 games versus the first 20? And so for that reason, I want to take Ohio State, but I do think that's a very popular narrative for sure. People will like Ohio State in this game.
Jeff is saying, Jeff and Brendan Smith are staying at open 4.5. Got you. So sharps are in on the Frogs. Snowman, is this your 3-unit POD?
It is not. I would say this is actually the game I am the most conflicted about in the entire first round. I think this could be one that I'm going to flip back and forth on multiple times in the days leading up to this game. Going to definitely want to see how the line movement goes, and if maybe all the sharps are on TCU, it maybe makes me lean that way. I certainly think looking at it from a basketball perspective, you have TCU as a better defensive team. They're the 22nd overall defense in KenPom compared to 81st overall offense. And Ohio State is much more of an offensive team, right? They're top 25 in KenPom offense, 17 overall, and 54 in defense. So it's kind of strength on strength, offense versus defense. I would generally side with defense in a situation like this. So I think I would probably lean with TCU right now. Not to mention that TCU does have better wins, in my opinion. Let's not forget that this team beat Florida earlier this year on a neutral site, and they've beaten Wisconsin, and they've beaten Iowa State. So they got a lot of really good winning experience. And Ohio State, just for whatever reason, I think is somewhat fraudulent, to be honest. I know they're playing great basketball right now. I just don't know if it's going to last.
You sound like a little bit of a Big Ten Indiana fan that just hates on everybody else in the Big Ten, but I don't know that you could say Ohio State's fraudulent. I think they've looked pretty good since they've got, who was the guy that was hurt? Again, I'm terrible with injuries, but was it Mobley Jr. that was out for a while? Their point guard, John Mobley. Yeah. I think they look like a problem. I think TCU's playing really good basketball. If I'm Duke, I hope TCU wins that game. I'm with you, but that might be one of the better matchups to stay off of. St. John's, Northern Iowa. Don't know anything about Northern Iowa, but St. John's, Kansas in the next round, I think would be awesome. So I want to ask you before we talk about like them potentially playing each other, Snowman, you're not giving Kansas a chance at all to make some noise here.
I'll give them a chance, but it's just tough for me to see what they've done this season and think that this is the team that's going to rally behind each other. Darren Peterson is a giant knee guy. And I actually, if he somehow were to get hurt or sit out, I would actually kind of be all in on Kansas, but that's not the situation that we find ourselves in. And they got really screwed with St. John's being a 5 seed. St. John's is incredibly underseeded, and St. John's is a really dominant defensive squad. It just feels like it's going to be a game that, you're going to have to bang on the inside. And could Darren Peterson go Superman and lead Kansas to victory and cements himself as the number 1 overall pick? Of course he can. And would I be surprised to see it happen? Not really. But from what we've seen this season, I would rather go against it. And I think St. John's is a great look right now over Kansas if they do make it both to the second round.
Yeah, I was gonna say, if we get there, I'll be taking St. John's as well. I think Kansas stinks, and I really don't think Darren Peterson makes them a better team. Like Snowman said, I know that's an insane thing to say about a guy that they're talking about being the number 1 pick, but if you watch it with your eyeballs, it feels like they are just not a better team with him out there. I would be loving to take a hot and disrespected St. John's team. A 5 seed for them feels crazy. I know the Big East sucks, but the way they ended the season, a 5 seed feels very, very disrespectful.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure that I agree with them being a 5. However, I also don't know enough ball to say where they should be. So should they be a 3 seed?
I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say 4 competently.
A 4? Okay.
Yeah, 4 at the least.
Yes.
Okay. So how about this towards the end of what are we? We're in the East. I think these are some interesting matchups here. So Louisville, Steak, you got him in pocket. I bought him. I bought in on him 65-1. Dead. Like that ticket, we may as well wipe our ass with it. But playing USF, I know USF has been a pretty good basketball school this year. Can't tell you I've watched them one time. I think if we get chalk here, Louisville, Michigan State would be a very fun round of 32 game. Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right. It's completely contrasting styles.
Exactly.
Louisville wants to score 100 and Michigan State wants to hold you to 50. Michael Brown needs to be playing. I think he is, but I'm not 100% sure. I've seen that a lot, Auto Gelato. I won't lie. I've seen people really like this USF team. A lot of people, I think, will have them being an upset here. I don't know if anyone's all that into Louisville. They shouldn't be. They're super inconsistent.
Yeah.
But yeah, Louisville, Michigan State, as a Louisville backer, I'd like to see that. I got very little respect for this Michigan State team.
And real quick,
not to mention South Florida is one of the few teams in the country that actually has a faster pace of play than Louisville. Both teams want to sprint up and down the court and fire up shots. And in a 3-point shootout, anyone's got a chance.
Do you know the totals though in that game?
I'm sure it's up in Louisville.
163.5. That's what I'm seeing on DK.
Yeah. That's going to be a popular over. Louisville, South Florida is going to be a popular over. Real quick, we don't have to go backwards. But I just noticed Jeff Rosa, who knows ball, said that Northern Iowa was live there. I wanted to mention, if that's the number, it's not showing here because I'm in New York. St. John's at 9.5 feels kind of short.
It does. Northern Iowa, I think, gets respect, but it does feel kind of short.
Fair. Okay, Kansas 13.5. I'm just going off the ESPN numbers for the most part, so we keep it on one screen. Okay, let's talk about the bottom here. UConn against Furman. They should take care of business. They're 19.5-point favorites. But UCLA, UCF, I don't really know what to make of UCLA. They started to play pretty well down the stretch. I believe they were 6-1 in their last 7 games. Donovan Dent is a dog. They upset Michigan State in the conference tournament. They played Purdue pretty tough, and Purdue was playing really, really well. I think, again, I'm awful with injuries, so please help chat or Snowman or Steak. I was at T-Squared. I was watching golf. I was watching the games. I was golfing myself. I thought I heard something about UCLA getting hit with not one, but 2 injuries. Is that correct?
So against Michigan State, Tyler Bilodeau, one of their big guys, and they're probably their second best player, got hurt, missed the game against Purdue. And then Donovan Dent got hurt during the Purdue game and sat out like the last 30 minutes of it. So
yeah,
we'll see about injuries. I would expect both to actually play in this game. I think Bilodeau is pretty much confirmed in. I think they said like he probably could have played against Purdue, but they just wanted to hold him out because it was, I guess no one cares about conference tournaments anymore. And Dent is such a competitor, such a baller. I can't really expect that he's going to miss this one. So I think they'll both play. And I think UCLA will do pretty well in this game, to be honest.
What's the spread on this one?
6.5.
UCLA 6.5. I watched UCF against, was it Arizona? That came out and they're mauling them to start the game. It was like 34-8. Yes. Arizona fell asleep, took their foot off the gas. UCF kind of came back in. I don't know if they ended up covering the spread or not, but I wasn't really impressed to start. I know that they've been a pretty solid team. I would have to lean UCLA here. But my question would be UCLA UConn. Is that going to be a popular 7 upsetting the 2? Because UConn is not very trendy this year. And they shouldn't be. They're not a really good team.
They were trendy this year. They really were. They aren't anymore because they've been so bad. But coming into the year, people were really, really
Whoa. Okay, sorry. They're not trendy right now. Sorry.
Yeah, they're not trendy right now. And UCLA, you could argue, is as trendy as they've been all year.
Yeah. So that would be something that I have penciled in is see if UCLA, I don't really think UCF stands a chance, honestly, but maybe everybody will write them off. UCLA, UConn, I think a lot of people be interesting to see what that spread's going to be. We'll be backing UCLA there. Snowman, do you agree with that?
It depends on what the number is. I think we'll probably see it about UConn 6.5 or 7 in that range. And I think UCLA would probably be a popular dog. But then you're going to start having the narratives about, because I feel like in that second block of the Saturday, Sunday games, like we have 3-4 days right now to go over all the first round matchups, but then you basically have to go and flip overnight to the second round. I think a lot of people are just going to default with, Danny Hurley owns March Madness and stick with UConn. So safe to say, I don't necessarily know what's going to happen. I would guess maybe more people will be on UConn in that spot. It also could depend on how they look against Furman. But after that game against UConn, no one wants to back them right now.
Yeah,
I'm going to keep my eyes on how people talk about this game. But I want to tell you, not just because I'm from Orlando, there's a version of UCF that can absolutely win this game outright. I'm shocked at 6.5, to be honest. I would never have guessed UCLA would be minus 6.5 on a neutral against UCF. So maybe that's telling that they're going to belt them, but I'm starting to like UCF for sure.
I think that's a garbage game, Steak. I think UCF upsets them or UCLA wins by like 14.
That's kind of what I think. That's kind of what I think.
All right, let's go to the South. Steak, Florida and Tampa, your backyard, your Gators in your backyard. I don't think we expected that. Very fun. We don't know who they're going to play just yet, but Iowa-Clemson. I like it. I feel like Iowa's always in this 8-9 matchup. They're usually playing like a fucking Auburn or something. Clemson is such a weird team. Clemson is a weird team. It's always that team going into the ACC tournament that you kind of want to take a little bit of a long shot play on. They look good here. They look good there. And then you're like, oh yeah, it's Clemson basketball. Like, what are they really going to do? Yeah. So I am curious. You've got Iowa minus 1.5. I feel like Iowa as a brand of basketball is a little bit more popular, but nobody really is in love with Iowa. I like the way they played. They showed some dog. They showed some heart and some fight. I just don't really think they're very good. So my first click in this game would be Clemson. Do you think the right team is favored, Snowman?
Yes, I think Clemson is a gutless basketball team, and they were on my ban list weeks ago. There is no chance I'll be betting Clemson in this game, not against a winner like Ben McCullum, who, let's not forget, took a Drake team last year that no one expects to do shit to the tournament and also won in the first round against Mizzou. However, this is the game that has my 3U Whaler in it.
No way.
And it is on the total.
Oh, It
is the under in Iowa-Clemson, 132.5. This game will not be above 110 points. This will be the slowest paced game of all time. Both these teams operate in the half-court offense. Iowa is the 7th slowest overall team offensively in the country. And last year with Drake, they were the number 1 slowest team. Clemson is a bottom 30 pace team that is defensively focused. Neither team is particularly all that good at shooting threes, with the exception of Bennett Sturts. Iowa's a decent percentage-wise team, but this game is going to have so few possessions, and both defenses are so strong. This is going to be, if you remember, like the old school Virginia, Wisconsin games. Oh, yeah. That is what this game is going to be here. Love the under. I would get it in now because this line is only going to soar down.
I was going to say, I think it's already moving.
It's already moving. KP agrees with you. You said it won't reach 120. Pranav coming in here already with some mean things to say. Who do we think Indiana's going to play in the crowd?
Indiana's not accepting any invites. Come on. Indiana is a top-tier program. You don't debase yourself, demean yourself by going for a 4 when you're a 10. You stick with the 10s, and if you strike out, you go home alone and jerk off. That's what the IU players have been doing this year. Except they did all fucking season was jerk off and jerk around.
All right, let's go to the rest of this region. Kind of fun. Depending on how seriously you take Illinois. I'm not really into North Carolina this year. VCU is a bit of a fun team. That's a short spread. But Nebraska trying to win their first tournament game, I think, in the school history. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. And Vanderbilt McNeese. Fun matchup. Vanderbilt, I believe they just lost today against Arkansas in the SEC championship, but they woke up. They looked good early in the year. I bet on them in the second half of the season. Could not get on the right side of that team, mostly due to Tennessee. Fuck Tennessee. But McNeese becoming a popular mid-major, smaller school brand. McNeese is a fun team.
Yeah.
Vandy is 11.5. I don't really think people like Vanderbilt. However, I was surprised to see so many people, not that they were like overly popular or trendy, but I saw people pressing the button with the 8.5 against the Gators. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I stayed off that game. I wrote an article about it. And I said that this is a team that's going to make a splash in the conference tournament and then fizzle out in the NCAA tournament. The line moved 8.5 to 7.5, so I stayed off. They win. They look good. They're playing good basketball. I'm curious what you guys think here, because Nebraska and Vanderbilt, in my opinion, one of these teams is getting upset. That's the way I feel. And if I had to go with it, I feel like I'd probably go McNeese. Maybe that's not very brave or ballsy to say because they're 11.5 and Nebraska's 14.5. But I think in my bracket, I'm going to pick, you got to have a little chaos. I would pick one of these teams to lose. Steak, what do you think between Vanderbilt, McNeese, and Nebraska, Troy?
I think you just talked about what very well might be the 2 trendiest dogs in the whole tournament. Everyone's going to fade Nebraska, I believe, because it's Nebraska. And like you said, they're trying to win their first tournament game, and no one's going to back them. No one is going to back them. What's the spread in that game?
14.5.
They will not be getting everybody will be on Troy. And then McNeese, you nailed it with McNeese. They're fun. They got Oricon. They were in this spot last year. I'm pretty sure it was a 12 seed, right? And they played Michigan, and everyone liked them. They had a real short line. Is that right?
That was UC San Diego against Michigan.
Oh, okay. Was McNeese in the tournament last year though?
Yes.
Who did they lost play?
To Purdue? They lost to Purdue, I think.
McNeese last
year. I'd love to know, because you're right. I was thinking about UC San Diego, the team Michigan beat the shit out of.
Vandy kills McNeese. Bad guy, Jim says. Oh, they beat Clemson.
McNeese beat Clemson.
They beat Clemson because Clemson is a gutless program of losers who will not be winning in this game against Iowa.
You're right.
Even more of a reason to be clear that I think McNeese will be absurdly trendy. Nobody likes Vanderbilt. Nobody liked him in the SEC tournament. Nobody liked him in the regular season. Nobody likes him now. I kind of think they're solid. I was telling Snowman at the bar, Duke Miles is an absolute bucket getter, and I think I love Vanderbilt in this one. This will not be a game I pick an upset in.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, so you don't really like
McNeese is. I will not be on McNeese either in any stretch of the imagination. People liked them last year. The coach is gone from last year. All the players are gone from last year. McNeese is the number one in the entire country at getting turnovers and getting steals. I don't think that they're going to be able to beat Vanderbilt's ball handlers. They're too strong at the guard position. They also are number 1 in the country and making you work for it on D. I think the guards play is just going to be too strong for Vandy in this game, and McNeese is not able to do what they want to do, which is get the turnovers and move out and put the place to play in transition.
Well, fuck me. Guess I won't be taking Troy or McNeese to shock the world, according after listening to you guys. But you make pretty good points both ways. And Jeff Rosa chimed in as well. He said this is McNeese's worst matchup. Okay, let's keep moving. I don't know what to make of North Carolina. So as a casual college basketball fan, I feel like North Carolina, there's nothing really that sexy or good about them. VCU is always a team that's got that, the March Madness, like, ooh, they're tough, they're gritty, they can make a run, they have before. Is this the fake sharp play of round one? People fading North Carolina and taking VCU, because that's probably what I would do.
I don't know if it's fake sharp. Well, I think VCU is honestly going to be a little more of a square take, no? Because I think everyone wants to fade North Carolina in this spot.
I guess in a way, fake sharp is square. Fake sharp is like when a square better tries to be contrarian, and it's like super
by betting the lower seeded team that's in a mid-major, essentially.
Right.
Okay, I think there's a different spot for it, but I actually do like VCU in this spot, and it's not necessarily because Caleb Wilson is out, even though that definitely has something to do with it. It's just that I don't trust Hubert Davis, especially even in that first run in March Madness where they made it to the national championship game. That game against Baylor where he called off the Dogs and they blew a 25-point lead, it's just still stuck with me all this time. And I think VCU is a very, very strong team. They just won their conference tournament. They're playing very good basketball. And this is a team that is very crafty at getting to the free throw line. They got some good experienced guards on this team. And North Carolina missing their best player and their center. I'm very nervous on this game. I did see that the line has moved from 1.5 to 2.5 in favor of UNC. So maybe Sharp's already on UNC, but I do like VCU in this one as an upset pick.
I like VCU too. I think, Jeff, you were still correct. I think they're going to be trendy. I still like them. I think if this is the square play that hits, I'm definitely backing VCU here. I kind of decided I was backing VCU against pretty much whoever they played in the tournament like 3 weeks ago.
Okay, fair enough. Illinois, 22.5-point favorites against Penn. How about this 7-10 St. Mary's, Texas A&M? St. Mary's is 2.5-point favorites. And then you've got Houston against Idaho, which I heard Idaho's first time in the tournament since like 1990, fighting potatoes. That is a total that should probably be like 125.5, I would think. Idaho just screams like low scoring, slow, and Houston has a great defense. But what about St. Mary's, Texas A&M? I don't know anything about either of these teams. I just don't think Texas A&M is very good. I haven't watched St. Mary's play basketball because I'm always asleep when they tip off. I would just want to fade Texas A&M just because I don't like them. So any thoughts on that? And then any thoughts on potentially Houston running into some trouble with either of those 7-10? Steak, do you have anything?
I think it's very respectful that St. Mary's is favored in this game. I know there's the 7 seed and Texas A&M is the 10 seed, but if you would have asked me to guess this line when they announced, I definitely would have guessed A&M was about a 1-point favorite or at minimum. Okay. I wouldn't have thought St. Mary's would be -2.5, just simply because one team is from the SEC and the other's from the West Coast Conference or whatever it's called, and they're not the best team, and they're always here. Like, I feel like St. Mary's is always in the tournament, but never doing too much. I'm not sure if I'm 100% accurate on that. I think A&M will be popular at a plus price.
Snowman, I think Steak hit it on the head. 2.5 tells you all you need to know in this game with St. Mary's being the favorite. Great stylistic matchup too. Texas A&M wants to run and gun. St. Mary's wants to slow you down. And Texas A&M has not been a great rebounding team this year. And St. Mary's has been a very strong rebounding team. I think it's probably be a close game, but St. Mary's would be my pick for sure.
Okay.
Also, the reason I think you're right, DGen, is because teams have had like interesting 10-game stretches or whatever you want to call it, and Texas A&M opened SEC play piping hot. They won like 8 out of 9 games, and they looked good. But the last 10, which I think matters for a lot of these teams here, and I'll mention it with a few other teams, they've looked super mediocre. You could even say below average. So I don't think your take that they suck is bad at all.
Okay.
And they got a first-year coach, and St. Mary's got a coach who's been there for 25 years. I think it's just got to be St. Mary's.
Grayson Williams, appreciate you chiming in, and everybody in the chat too who's got opinions. Texas A&M can't handle tall teams. They played bottom of the barrel SEC to start. Yes. Gotcha. Tailing Dawes says St. Mary's. Yes. I'm looking forward to talking Wright State because I watch Wright State. They play their asses off, and I liked it. All right.
But I will also say, D-Gen, from that bottom half, Houston, I know I said Purdue side is easy. Houston, I feel like, should easily roll through this entire division. Illinois is the only team that even poses some sort of a threat. And again, Houston is such a solid defensive team. It matches up pretty well there.
I'm very much with you, Snowman. I mean, I know I don't know what the odds are for with Florida being the 1 and Houston being the 2 for which team would make it out of this, but I would lean towards Houston personally. And that's no hate on the Gators. And I don't even, when I watch Houston, I still just don't even think they're that good. That's why I bet Arizona against them the other night. But I'm not a believer in Illinois. None of these teams really scare me.
And obviously Florida beat Houston in the national championship game last year. So you got to think Houston's going to have massive revenge. I'm sure it just so randomly happened that the committee happened to get that matchup potentially in the Elite Eight. There was definitely no ratings in mind wanting to get the rematch there at all. It's just random,
right.
Call me SpongeBob, but we're getting that matchup. That is happening. Florida will be playing Houston in the Elite Eight.
I hope so. All right, wait, let me ask you this. If it's not Florida, Houston, if it's not out of here, Clemson, Iowa, Vandy, Nebraska, Illinois, St. Mary's, chat you as well. Who would it be? You don't even have to tell me who would, if Houston goes down, Florida goes down, obviously, just pick a team that you could see playing in that Elite Eight game.
Vanderbilt.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Vanderbilt is a great pick because they just beat Florida a couple of games ago. But I would say Nebraska. I mean, Nebraska is an experienced senior-led team that has a very solid coach in Fred Hoiberg, who's been there a long time. They're fighting for this is their first ever tournament run. And, if they can get by Florida or somehow just hit a lot of shots, I could see their pathway to victory when they shoot so many threes. They're a top 10 team in threes in the country.
Okay.
Ballsy
All right.
take.
Good stuff, guys. By the way, thanks for joining. I saw we almost had 100 people in the YouTube. Make sure you like and sub on the Pick It YouTube page, and everybody on Twitter as well. Like the stream, retweet it. We appreciate it. Let's go over to the West. Arizona, Long Island, again, travesty. Long Island is playing in San Diego, not somewhere in the Northeast. But I will just tell you this. I mean, I think Arizona is really good. It's a matter of, 30.5 points is crazy. It's a matter of if you're going to get Arizona sleepwalking at all in this game. But I've watched Long Island. Let me just tell you something. They got some dogs. And I'm not just saying that. I have no reason to say that. I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm just telling you what I've seen with my eyeballs. There are some dogs on this Long Island team. Do I know their first and last names? No. I know one guy's last name is Fuller. One guy's last name is Gordon. He's number 2. And then I think the other guy's name is Malachi Fields. Okay. They can play some ball. And I think they can keep it within the number. I think they can keep it within the number. Now, my only question is this, though. Arizona's not known for having a great defense, right? It's just really their offense. That's a problem. They're a high-scoring team, or do they have a really good defense as well?
Arizona is number 3 defense in the country, according to Ken Palm.
Okay,
he's right, Smo, man. I think people are expecting him to struggle with Long Island.
What do we know about Ken Palm, though? What do they really do? What's Bartorvin?
Does Ken Palm's model account for that absolute Chad going fins up?
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm not saying Arizona's defense is bad. When you think of Houston, you think of defense. Right now, when you think of Duke, you think of defense. I'm just saying when you think of Arizona, you might think of offense. So I was going to say, if it's just that, they could probably win this game. What's 82-48? No, that's not within the
that's not covering.
No, that's not good. 82-58. 82-58. How about that? 82-58.
Okay. I just want to say, even in your wildest dreams, you couldn't had LIU keep you within the spread. 82-48, first number. Also, I want think about this. You're a person watching us for the first time, right? And they've been listening to you host the show, and then all of a sudden, without understanding, you have by far the most to say about Long Island plus 30.5 over any other game. I'd be losing my mind.
Yeah.
Not only that, we've actively skipped the other 16 versus 1 seeds entirely, just completely ignored them.
We did do that. And what's interesting to note is I think this might be the biggest spread. Oh, well, we don't know who's playing Michigan in Florida. So Duke is 27.5, Long Island 30.5. Absolutely disrespectful.
You want my Arizona take?
Yeah, I do.
They're winning the Natty.
You've been saying that. You have them?
I'm going to take them. I don't have them, unfortunately, no.
I might take them.
Put 1,000 on. Put 1,000 on it for me. I'll pay you back next year.
Okay.
I don't hate that take at all. I did just finish the stream over on my channel, going through my instant reaction bracket. I don't know if I should spoil who my winner was, but Arizona definitely makes it far in mine. I think the obviously LIU should be no issue, but I think the entire bracket looks pretty solid for them here. This is just such a complete team. Like, yes, maybe they're more known for offense than defense, but this is still an incredibly strong defensive team that maybe most importantly offensively doesn't rely on the three ball. They shoot the third fewest threes of any team in the entire country, 362 out of 365. So they don't need to rely on getting lucky shooting. So if the three-point shooting is drying up, well, then they have plenty of other pathways to victory, whether it be defense, whether it be getting in the paint, whether it be through their rebounding. They're just such a complete, solid team that has looked really, really good. They've beaten Houston and Iowa State twice each within the last month.
So I think there's something interesting to be said here, and I feel like it has a lot to do with the respect the odds makers have for Long Island. But Michigan and Duke to make the Final Four are minus 185 and minus 175. Arizona's only minus 140. And I'm wondering if that has anything to do with the potential slip up against the Sharks.
Yep.
Okay. So in all seriousness, though, I was talking about Houston and Florida. Florida's plus 105 to make the Final Four. Houston's plus 210 if anybody gives a shit. And Arizona, by the way, I'm using Pickett right now. Okay, you see where it says the sports books and everything like that. It's beautiful. It's a great app. You should download it. Duke plus 333 on BetMGM's the best odds. Michigan's plus 375.
333 MGM. I've heard on Twitter that you should just automatically take any bet on MGM that's plus 333.
Are you being serious?
Wasn't that a thing? Like there was some chick who was like giving out plays and just literally said if it's anything, if any home run is plus 333, take it.
No, I have no idea. I didn't hear that before.
I thought that was last baseball season. It was like a meme.
Okay, let's keep moving on here though. And I mean no disrespect. Villanova, Utah State. This would be the game where I go get some errands done. Like I'm going to the grocery store, I'm doing the laundry. You know what I mean? Like maybe I'll consider getting a car wash depending on the temperature if it's warm enough. Just zero interest in this game at all.
You're a little bit missing out on Utah State. They're kind of fun. If I was Arizona, I'm praying Villanova wins this game so I can play Villanova. Villanova has absolutely no fucking shot against Arizona. I'm not saying Utah State does, but I genuinely believe Utah State has a much better chance of beating Arizona than Villanova does.
Okay. 2.5-point favorites are Utah State. Snowman, anything to add on that, or should we keep moving?
I agree. It's not a super exciting matchup in my opinion, but I think that's a game that could be a nice under spot. Both teams like to play pretty slow, or at least both teams can slow it down on defense.
So I want to talk about Wisconsin for a second. This is a team where I watched them against Illinois, had the under, ref show. Not a good wager because it lost, ref show. But Wisconsin played Michigan pretty well, but they also benefited from something that happens every this time of year, every year. And it's what we love. It's what we live for. There's a fucking dude who just cannot miss from three. Unconscious. Cannot miss from three. And it's kind of like hockey. In hockey, it doesn't matter how good you are. If you are going against a hot goalie, you are fucked. Ask the Chicago Blackhawks. Sorry, Snowman. I know you're a Chicago guy. When they went up against Jonathan Quick and the Los Angeles Kings, and they were an 8th seed. I'm telling you right now, if you get out of that team with a guy who's unconscious from three, you stand no fucking chance. Wisconsin started shooting the ball very well. Boyd is a very fun player, bit of a flopper. But they showed me something. And it's kind of like what I was saying about Miami and Missouri. Like, one of these teams can just be a pain in the ass. They can be an annoying out. So I don't know shit about High Point. I don't think High Point stands a chance. I will be chalking it up with Wisconsin moving forward. They are 10.5-point favorites here. But what I'm getting at, lads, is the next game is Arkansas, Hawaii. Arkansas 16.5-point favorites. If you guys have anything about that matchup, feel free. I had no idea. Hawaii.
I would not be skipping Wisconsin High Point. I think High Point is a very live dog.
Really? Okay. So
yeah,
I'm glad you said that. Steak, do you agree?
Oh, I thought Snow was going to say why. Wisconsin has been hitting the three ball at an alarming rate lately.
Insane.
And I think it might be convincing people that Wisconsin is better than they are. And so for that reason, I'm with Snowman because I don't know that you can count on them to keep shooting like that. I'll take High Point to cover to win. It'll be a fun little sprinkle. But I definitely don't like Wisconsin in this tournament at all.
Well, if Wisconsin and Arkansas play, now that's very interesting. I'm glad Snow pointed that out. So he thinks High Point's live. If Arkansas,
I think it'll be a very popular upset pick for sure.
Okay. That total would probably be the highest total in the tournament, I think, Wisconsin and Arkansas. And that would be a very fun game, probably a very popular over, but we'll see what happens. If you guys have anything else to add or touch on, feel free. Otherwise, we'll move down to BYU and Gonzaga, Kennesaw State.
Well,
go ahead, Sick.
I don't think you should skip Arkansas, Hawaii completely.
Okay, let's go back to Arkansas, Hawaii.
Javon had a really good tweet about it, comparing it to when Auburn was the 4 seed. I think they won the SEC tournament that year too, if I'm not mistaken, and they played Yale and lost. And I know we had Yale in that game. Everybody was high on Yale. I feel like there won't be a soul in the world on Hawaii. What's the spread?
16.5.
16.5.
Wow. They're 16.5 and Wisconsin is 10.5.
Yeah.
That's interesting. That is a shit ton of points.
I will not be having any money on Hawaii. I don't know anything about him. Snowman, is Hawaii a live dog?
I don't think so. You know, they're a team that likes to move up and down the court as well. Very fast-paced team. They're much stronger defensively than offensively. So maybe if somehow they're able to completely slow down or stop Acuff, I just would have to see it to believe it.
I'll tell you this is how I would sell you on Hawaii. Arkansas is a team that could play with their food a little bit. And isn't their coach Calipari?
Yep.
Well, what does Calipari like to do? He loves to fuck around and find out. St. Peter's, didn't they beat Kentucky when he was the coach?
That sounds right.
Jack Golke?
No, that was
Oakland.
Okay. Wait, no, Jack Golke was on Oakland, but didn't Oakland fuck around with Kentucky?
Yeah, it was Doug Edert on St. Peter's.
Yeah, so these are two different.
That was Kentucky.
So I thought
St. Peter's definitely beat Purdue. I think they also went on to beat Kentucky as well.
I'm pretty sure they did. I could be wrong. But anyways, Calipari could be that coach, you know? So if you wanted to fade Calipari in Arkansas, by the way, do I get any credit for knowing ball from anybody in the chat? Thank you very much. Makes up for Jay Huff. Anyways, good player for the Pacers. We'll move down now. I don't know who BYU's playing, but fuck BYU. Although they started to play pretty good basketball.
So BYU is playing the winner of Texas and Miami of Ohio.
Wait, no. Texas, NC State, right?
Sorry, Texas, NC State. Yes,
Texas, NC State. Fun game. SMU, Miami of Ohio. Fun game. First 4. Pretty good games for those 11 seeds. Okay, so Snowman, either of those teams tickling your fancy there to fade BYU, NC State, and Texas if they were to play?
I'm going to assume it's Texas. I'll be on them in the first 4. I think NC State is incredibly fraudulent as well. Yeah. I'm frankly shocked they even got into the first 4. Don't think they deserve to be there. I think Texas will definitely give them a run for their money. And Texas, I mean, they've got a very experienced head coach in Sean Miller, former Arizona head coach. He's made it all the way to, the Elite 8 many times. He's had 1 seeds with Arizona. Now, there's a reason he's not there anymore. Arizona's all of a sudden got way up in their absence. But against a BYU team that's certainly, as Steak said, was talked about like the last 10 games. I mean, BYU over the last 10 games has not been very good either. They're missing one of their best players and senior leaders in Richie Saunders. I don't hate the idea that Texas could compete against BYU in this game.
I just will be taking the winner of Texas NC State against BYU. I don't care who it is. BYU sucks, and the loss of Richie Saunders was huge. I love watching DeBonza play. We talked about it earlier, Snow. I think he's the number 1 overall pick. I think he's the best or most fun watching college basketball. But outside of that, they're really bad. And I'll take Texas or NC State. Even though I agree with you about the way NC State's been playing lately, I'll gladly take either of those teams at a plus price against BYU.
I believe since the first 4 has been a thing, a first 4 participant has won every year but 1 in the last 8 or 9 years, whatever, since they started doing it. So generally a team in the first 4 will win a first round game. Yeah. At least 1.
It's going to be the winner of this one.
I'm so against you. And I think the disrespect stake for I believe his name's Robbie Wright, the point guard for BYU. is absolutely ridiculous. DeBonce is incredible. Number one pick. Agree with you there. Yes. After that, they don't really have much. I'm not saying this team is deep. I've watched them. They're frustrating. But Robbie Wright is a fantastic point guard. This guy is a baller. And I think you're discrediting how BYU started to play well at the end of the year, even into the conference tournament. Who do they lose to in the Big 12 tournament?
Houston.
Yeah. And they played them pretty tight. They were covering almost all game, and they almost blew it late. You know what? Add BYU against NC State or Texas to my card. I will fade Stake. And if Snowman is on the 11th seed there as well, I'll fade Snowman. Okay. Not a large play, but maybe a full unit. All right. Just talk to me quickly. Gonzaga's 19.5. Is there anything that we should know about Gonzaga State? Because all I know about Gonzaga is basically what we said in the beginning of this. They're not very sexy this year. Nobody's really that into them. Could have slept on Gonzaga be the team that actually makes the run. Be kind of fun if it happened, but I don't think I'm going to put my money on it.
I kind of love it in concept, like buy low on a Zaga program that has never made it to the mountaintop.
Yeah.
I mean, as we'll talk about Purdue coming up, Purdue has historically been a choking team in March Madness. If you're Gonzaga, you got to be looking at the bracket and kind of licking your chops. It is about as best as you can expect. Plus, their team is pretty experienced. They got Graham Ike, who's been there for a while. Tyon Grant Foster was the best player on Grand Canyon the last couple of years. If you remember them in March Madness, he's on Gonzaga now. They got this guy, Saint Superi, who's a freshman, but he was a former pro over in Europe. I mean, it would be nice to get Braden Huff back. But I think that I don't hate the buy low narrative on Zaga, at least to make to the Elite Eight. If whoever they meet there, whether it be Arkansas or Arizona, is going to be very difficult for them.
Fair. Very fair. All right, we'll move down. End of the region. Miami, Missouri. Yeah, sorry.
Gonzaga.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about Gonzaga.
Well,
I already have
motherfucker.
I already have a natty ticket, and I think Snowman said it well because it is in theory. In theory, it's a fun buy low spot, but KP also nailed it. Their ceiling is low. Like when you watch Gonzaga, even Purdue, I'm a Purdue hater, but Purdue at their best and Gonzaga at their best, Purdue's winning that game. I think we all would agree on that. Mm-hmm. So they're going to need a lot to happen. Because Purdue, I feel like, with the exception of this Big Ten tournament, didn't play at their best for the majority of the year. I still like Gonzaga in that game, but it's tough to think that they have a national championship in them with this roster.
Fair. Very fair. We talked about the 7-10 in Purdue in the beginning of the stream. I'm kind of into Miami, and I think Purdue is that team that, coming into the season, I don't know if they were the preseason favorite, but they were definitely up there. They're probably they were okay. Yeah. I mean, they've got guys that feel like have been there like 4 or 5 years. Braden Smith, everybody really likes him. Kaufman Wren is the other guy, but I just don't love this team. But more importantly, I haven't liked this guy ever. I'm not a Matt Painter guy. Edie Merchants is how I feel about Purdue, but I'm not going to skip Bayless. I'm not going to Stephen A. Smith this. I'll admit. I mean, I watched Purdue in the conference tournament, and you could tell like they just reset and they were playing really well. And the biggest thing that I noticed is Fletcher Lawyer was finally hitting threes. And if he's hitting threes, like even just going like 4 for 9, it's huge for this team. It really is. So I'm going to tell you this. I mean, I think Purdue can be a problem. And I'm not going to backtrack. I know Steak fucks me all the time about standing on business. Like, I'm not going to backtrack entirely. I'm not over here saying Purdue is going to win the national championship, but they're a team to take seriously, I think, in a tournament style setting where anything can happen. But as you said, a bit of a favorable draw in your opinion, Snowman. I really think that Purdue Miami game would be awesome if Miami beats Missouri. So I'll be very intrigued to see that in round 2. I mean, the brackets, I think so. I think they did a really good job at the brackets. The matchups are good. Even some of the snooze ones in round 2, whatever. But like the second round are poised to be really good games. All right, let's round it out.
You see the Missouri games in St. Louis?
Oh no, I didn't.
Okay, wow, Missouri a nice draw there.
Yeah, they sure did. All right, let's go to the Midwest. Michigan.
Does that mean if Missouri wins, is Missouri versus Purdue also in St. Louis?
I think that's how it works, right?
Yeah,
absolutely.
So they hooked the shit up for Mizzou. What the fuck?
Miami's going to end it. Miami's going to beat them. I think I like Miami. I think I like Miami against Purdue.
I agree. Too. Oh, Snowman, is that your Twitter handle? And is it right?
This is the Twitter right here.
We had someone in the chat asking.
Oh yeah, you know what? I'll share your Twitter, Snowman. Thank you for joining us as always. You're a huge W. Snowman streams every weekday whenever he feels like it. Just kidding. Usually noon Eastern. Make sure to tune in. I'll share his profile in here. Let's go to the Midwest. Snowman, you've been talking about it all season. And you think that this Michigan basketball team is the best basketball team of all time. You praise and respect them above me. I'll stop there. Snowman's a huge Indiana fan and he hates Michigan. But I just want to ask you, I don't know who they're going to play in the 16 seed, but apparently we should talk about it. Lehigh Prairie View, maybe it's that. Howard UMBC, maybe it's that.
No, Lehigh Prairie View is Florida, plays Florida.
Okay, so it's going to be Howard UMBC. Michigan's going to win that game. All right, let's not pretend that they're not. But the 8-9 in this bracket is interesting to me because it's Georgia, St. Louis. You don't think so?
Not a shot in hell. Not a shot in hell.
I don't think Georgia's that bad.
They don't have a shot in hell against Michigan. These 8 and 9 seeds have no fucking shot to beat Michigan. Absolutely no shot.
Snowman, do you agree?
I think the Georgia-St. Louis game is going to be a great game. That is the single highest over on the board, 171 as of right now. Both these teams play incredibly fast. The advanced metrics love St. Louis. The third overall best effective field goal percentage on offense in the country. The second best effective field goal percentage on defense in the country. The number 2 overall best three-point percentage as a team in the country, over 40% as a team. And their average 2-point distance, number 1 in the country, meaning they get more dunks and layups than any other team in all of college basketball. Now, granted, you could argue that this is quality of competition, but if St. Louis can play up to their level of expertise, they do have Robbie Avila, right? Remember Larry Nerd, the guy with the glasses from Indiana State a couple years ago, and he's followed his coach, Josh Schertz, who is the hottest mid-major coach in all of college basketball, and St. Louis just retained him, giving him a fat contract to stay. I don't think Georgia has a chance if they win this game, but if St. Louis does, I think they can give maybe a little bit more of a fight. At the end of the day, Michigan probably beats them.
Now let's talk Georgia St. Louis -2.5 real quick stake. Just in this matchup alone, I see people in the chat saying keep sleeping on St. Louis. Snowman saying the metrics love St. Louis. I kind of just like Georgia from when I've watched them play. You're an SEC guy. You're a Florida basketball fan. Do you think Georgia's no? Okay, nothing about them.
I'm not sleeping on St. Louis. I like them in this game for sure. I think we'll want as much. That's where Robbie Avila is, right? Though they're going to want him on the TV as much as possible, and we'll get him for an extra couple days, and then I'm sure we'll get a lot of them against Michigan, and he'll put up a good game, and they'll put up a good effort against Michigan, but they don't stand any chance. So if saying they're not going to beat Michigan, which I don't think is a hot take at all, is sleeping on them, I am all the way asleep. I'm in REM.
Okay, all right. Let's talk about Texas Tech Akron. I got to tell you, I think these 5-12s are unbelievable. Maybe the best 5-12s we've had. Vandy, McNeese, Texas Tech, Akron, Wisconsin, High Point. You're telling me don't sleep on High Point. St. John's, Northern Iowa. It's kind of short.
They're very good. It's a really good bracket.
These are really good 5-12s. I might make a tweet about that and see what kind of feedback we get, but I'm in love with these 5-12s. But anyways, I'm a Texas Tech guy. I bought into this team, but they kind of faded towards the end after they beat Iowa State on the road. I took them as a long shot to win it all, even without Toppin. It is unfortunate. I mean, he's a phenomenal player, but I really like their point guard. I always forget his name. Is it Christian Atkinson? Anderson. I always say that. Christian Anderson. I like Atwell, sharpshooter. And I like another guy, although I think he may have gotten hurt. But I like Tech. Tech at 8.5 against Akron. Akron was a good team. I think they just
opened to 10.5. Akron's gotten more juice than anybody so far.
Wow. Fake sharp. I like the Red Raiders here. I think I'm going to stand on business. I think Texas Tech, and we'll talk about this next game, Alabama would be awesome. I think we need it. I think we have to have it. I don't think Akron is going to be a live dog in this game. You guys have any thoughts? If not, we'll move on.
I understand why people are on them. If you remember when the debate was Miami, Ohio is going to lose, everyone thought they were going to lose to Akron. They were the best team metrically in that conference. Again, the advanced metrics really like them. They're a very good three-point shooting team that plays very fast. So this game could end up being a up and down three-point shootout. Obviously, in a three-point shootout, kind of anything can happen. I would still expect Tech to win that if it turns into it. But, Akron could easily be, they could have some random guy on the team who all of a sudden, hits 8 threes, and we're talking about him like he's the next Jack Golke in this spot here. It is interesting to see, though, that they were the most popular thing, because I was looking at the lines as they came out, and that matchup came out, and I said, everybody's going to like Akron here. And so far, everyone does early.
Everybody's going to like Akron here. I'm glad you said it. I'm not sure which side I actually lean in this game, but I am confident that we're talking about top 5, maybe even top 3 trendiest dogs of round 1. Akron for sure, when you consider that Tech doesn't have JT Toppin. And then they did play well for a few games without JT Toppin, then they really fell off. And everybody really does like Akron. And you're right, Snowman. They are the team everyone's kind of compared Miami of Ohio to. They're really good. So that's why I feel like you missed the number with Akron. Plus 10.5 sounds real nice, but where are we at? 8 now, 7.5.
And I think Jeff's take on Texas Tech is very contrarian. I don't think many people are agreeing. I think maybe early on, the first couple of games without him, where they were shooting at an incredible rate, especially after that Iowa State game, but they've lost 3 straight in a row outright. TCU, BYU, Iowa State. I think if you like Texas Tech, wait till the day of the game. You might even be able to get like a 5.5, 6.5 number.
Yeah.
Yeah, it already moved from 8.5 to 7.5. And they played Cincinnati, and I watched that game. Cincinnati started like 9 for 9, 10 for 10, and Texas Tech came back. I think they covered. Then they went and they played Iowa State. Steak made me stand up business. I bet them. They ended the year, like you said, losing 3 straight. But those teams that you just mentioned, again, TCU's playing really good basketball. BYU's playing well. And Iowa State in that rematch, they never stood a chance. This is, in my opinion, the buy low opportunity of round 1. So I'm going to be on the Raiders. All right, let's keep moving. A couple more games. We'll wrap it up. It's 8 o'clock here Eastern Standard. Guys, thank you very much for joining. Snowman, appreciate the time. Steak while he's traveling on vacation in Chicago. Grind it out on the Pickett Sports YouTube channel. Like and sub. All right, Alabama Hofstra. We know what Alabama does. They run, they shoot, they score. Does Hofstra do that? Is this a bad matchup?
Hofstra likes to slow it down, but I just can't envision that their style is going to win out. Their head coach, Speedy Claxton.
Yeah.
Slow it down.
Yeah, I saw that whenever they won their conference tournament, Speedy Claxton. So I don't know. I don't have anything in this game. Alabama 13.5. Maybe you could say that's a little bit short. Steak, you got anything? If not, we'll keep moving.
I don't think Hofstra will be a popular dog or a trendy dog by any means. I really, really don't like this Alabama team at all. And I would love to see this upset. Like, this would be an upset I would love to see that I genuinely believe is possible. I believe it's possible. If Hofstra can play their style of game, I know that's a big ask. I understand they're not really going to completely slow down Alabama unless they miss a lot of shots, but I don't know. As of right now, I think I'd have to tap Hofstra.
Okay. I think Tennessee, this 6-11 spot, I think they play the winner of SMU Miami.
Correct.
Tennessee drives me fucking insane. I don't know what to make of this team. I don't know what to think of this team, but I think the 11 could be live here, whoever it is. Even if it's Miami of Ohio, honestly. I'm not a Rick Barnes guy. I don't really think Tennessee's all that good. Ahmed is a dog. He's an incredible player, but I will be looking to see what that number is and potentially fade Tennessee. Where is Alex Knows Ball in the chat? Because Wright State is up. Wright State playing Virginia. I'm going to be on Wright State because I watched Wright State and I liked how hard they played. The only problem, I guess I wonder from Virginia is they're pretty good. And they played Duke to the final whistle, essentially.
Hey, I'm sorry. I got to go backwards. I didn't realize that was my opportunity to talk Miami of Ohio.
It is. Let's go
I
backwards.
like Miami of Ohio outright against SMU.
Yeah, agreed.
No way. 9.5?
SMU was terrible. SMU was terrible.
They are?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
The disrespect has gotten absurd for a 31-1 team. I'm going to be taking Miami of Ohio with the spread.
SMU lost 5 of 6 outright to end the year, with their only win being against Syracuse.
Yeah.
They're not inspiring anybody.
This line's insane.
Yeah.
Plus, they allow the 14th most threes in the country, and Miami fires threes.
Okay. All right. I like where your head's at. I'm glad we went back.
8.5 will be played for sure, and money line will also be sprinkled. I agree with Steve.
I'm down. Let's squad ride that shit. It's going to be on March 18th.
I don't know, bad guy Jim. I don't know.
He said SMU dog walks him. Yeah. Barnes is 100 years old. Dementia. Yeah. Alex Knows Ball says bang. Jeff Knows Ball. I like this Alex guy. Let's keep him around. Thank you, Alex. Appreciate it.
You got to go back and talk about Wright State then, I guess.
Well, now we're going forward.
Okay.
So now we're going forward. We went backwards. We went forwards. We're doing okay. Wright State, 18.5. I'm on them. They played so hard, and they're not a bad basketball team. They're not very good. I think they were playing like Northern Kentucky or some bullshit. I just like teams that play hard. So they passed my play hard eye test, and I'm going to take the points with them. Steak, you told me to get eyes on Virginia. I did watch some of that Virginia Duke game. I was getting a little sleepy. I've been out day drinking or whatnot. Give me a break. They're pretty good. They're not, I mean, they're no threat. They're no threat, but they're a pretty good team. 18.5. Give me Wright State. Snowman, any thoughts on that?
Probably just be a stay away spot for me.
Okay. Steak, anything on Virginia?
No. I think no, nothing. I think Virginia's a threat to some teams in this side of the bracket. But no, I don't know what I think about this game specifically. I don't lean aside yet.
All right, Steak, I'm going to stay with you on this last game, or second to last game, Santa Clara, Kentucky. You bet on Santa Clara. You had a very good caption. It was something about Santa Claus isn't real, but Santa Clara is. Great job. They won. Kentucky, you and I have both been fading Kentucky because we think Kentucky stinks, but I have not been very successful at it. So I think I'm going to tap out. Should I give it one more go? As of right now, please. Kentucky is 3.5-point favorites.
Yes, please. We are taking Santa Clara. Santa Clara will win this game.
Snowman, agree or disagree?
Santa Clara is fake sharp. I'm sorry.
Oh!
Because everyone's going to say Mark Pope is going to lose this game?
Yes, and the line has already moved from 1.5 to 3.5. I didn't even know it was at 3.5. That even for I tweeted out the second the matchup got announced, Santa Clara will be fake sharp because everyone's going to want to fade Kentucky in this spot, and Kentucky will win this game. And the line, the sharps are already jumping on Kentucky. It has to be Kentucky in this spot.
Okay, What you're saying makes perfect sense. I want to acknowledge that. I still have to stand on business, though. But what you're saying actually makes perfect sense.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Then Iowa State, Tennessee. Iowa State, let's just call it Iowa State, Kentucky playing. I think Iowa State looks like that team that they always look like every single time of year where you think, oh, my gosh, I don't know what they are to win it all right now. Let me check Pickett. But I always get sucked in to wanting to bet Iowa State to win it all. 22-1. They're 22-1 every fucking year on March 15th. And every time I throw like $50 on it, and then it has a little bit of life in it, out. Is this Iowa State team any different? Because they did look good in their conference tournament. They did.
I would hope that this year's would be the most probable to go deep, as they have a very strong senior class. Joshua Jefferson's a senior. Tamin Lipsey's a senior. Momcilovic is a junior, but he might end up. I haven't heard anything about this guy going to the NBA. Dude is shooting 50% from three with 250 attempts. How could he not go to the NBA if this guy is legitimately shooting 50% in high college basketball? So if this is going to be kind of like their last year with some of the centerpiece pieces, it's kind of now or never for this team. I kind of like their draw too. I don't necessarily agree with your take about Tennessee. I think that they could cause some damage this year in the tournament. But I do think Iowa State should be able to get to the Elite Eight from this half of the bracket.
Well, Snowman, you just mentioned something I didn't even consider. I do like their draw because I'm not really scared of Virginia. I'm not scared of Tennessee, even though you and I disagree. I'm certainly not scared of Kentucky. And then...
And we didn't talk about this either, but Michigan got by far, and I mean by far, the worst bracket, in my opinion, for a 1 seed. You guys might not like Duke, but Michigan have to take on either Georgia or St. Louis, both of whom are incredibly fast-paced, good teams, and then maybe Alabama. You know, Bama can outscore anybody, and that includes Michigan. If they're playing at their best, they can run. And Michigan obviously is a defensive team that's great on the inside. Bama is just going to shoot threes. Doesn't matter how tall you are when you're shooting over them. So if Michigan does fall in the early stage, then it makes it much easier for Iowa State as well to potentially make the Final Four.
But you're right. Actually, that's actually a gauntlet because then you have Iowa State right after playing. Who would they play? Oh, Alabama. Yeah. No,
so like there's a chance that Michigan go from playing Alabama, the like fastest team in the country that fires threes, and then they'll either play Tennessee or Iowa State, a punch you in the mouth, strong defensive, physical team. That's a two tough teams to be. Like if they can get through that, I mean, the sky's the limit for this team, and I don't want to see it fucking happen. I'm sorry, Pranav.
Yeah. So my take on Iowa State is they are the most 22-1 team out there. They are every year, you say it. And they're the most Elite Eight team too. And I think that bracket's set up real nicely for another run to the Elite Eight, and they'll be there against Michigan. I agree with what you said about Michigan's side of the bracket, but they're going to get through it. And this is the only other this is the only other region where I like the 1 and 2 seed to absolutely make it to the Elite Eight. So I don't want everyone to think I'm picking chalk everywhere, but Michigan will be playing Iowa State in the Elite Eight this year. That will happen.
Do you think it's a value bet to take Iowa State to make the Final Four at plus 450, because you're essentially saying they have to beat Michigan? And what would the line be if they played Michigan? Michigan maybe minus like 8.5. And then they're essentially more or less
on a neutral site.
Michigan's on a neutral against Purdue today, and they were 6.5. I would think at minimum Iowa State and Purdue would be comparable.
True. Good point. I think I'm going to take Iowa State to make the Final Four. I think that's a pro play. I think that's value. I do have Arkansas. Arkansas is a long shot team of mine. They're not going to win it all, but they're a fun team. Okay. All right. Pranav asked, by the way, who's the Cinderella this year, Snowman? Do you have anybody?
It's tough. I feel like the definition of Cinderella has changed. Like, I'm not looking at the 11 and 12s to be Cinderellas anymore. With the transfer portal, all the top teams are poaching all the top mid-major talents. It's really, really tough for me to see a true Cinderella anymore. I think you're looking at more of like, who are some unlikely teams that are maybe on the top 6 line that could be a Cinderella. And like, none of those are good. I would say Nebraska, but they're a 4 seed. I don't know if you want to call Nebraska Cinderella, but they've never won a tournament game before. I think a lot of people are sleeping on them. Maybe VCU would be my top actual low seed. I just don't really believe that they're going to make it anywhere super far. I mean, they got to play North Carolina, Illinois, Houston, Florida to make the Final Four. It's a tough fucking gauntlet.
You won't like mine. Miami of Ohio.
No, stop. Miami doing too much. You're doing too much.
Miami of Ohio.
Stop.
What?
Stop. They're not.
She said pick a Cinderella. He said pick a Cinderella.
They're not the fucking Cinderella. They're not.
You pick one. I'd love to hear you pick one better.
All right.
You didn't yell at Snowman for picking Nebraska.
I changed to VCU.
You changed to VCU.
Go ahead. You're
picking a 31 and fucking 1 team, by the way.
Oh, now they're too good to be a Cinderella?
Yeah.
They're 8.5 point dogs to dog shit SMU in the first 4. Pick your Cinderella.
I got my Cinderella. Thank you very much for asking.
Who?
You're wrong, and I'm Wright State. That's my Cinderella. Wright State. Fuck you, Virginia. Fuck you, Tennessee. Who's next? They're going to lose Texas Tech. Cinderella count if they make the Sweet 16? I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it with Miami of Ohio. Give me a fucking break. Miami of Ohio.
Okay, I don't want to hear it with Wright State just because Andrew knows ball or whatever the fuck his name is comes in here and glazes you. The first chatter ever in the history of the stream to glaze you. And this is why you can't be glazed. This is why you cannot be glazed. Because that guy comes in here and says, go Wright State, Jeff knows ball. All of a sudden, that's your fucking Cinderella. Give me a fucking break.
I would have said that with or without Alex knows ball.
No shot. You would not have said that. You would not have said that.
Yeah, because I don't fucking think Virginia's very good. And I watched Wright State and they played their ass off. And that's what I care about. Teams that play their ass off in a tournament. Now listen, hold on. I'll give you another one. You want another one?
Yes.
Does this count as a Cinderella? BYU.
Fine. No, I'm fine with it. Yeah.
You don't seem fine with it. You seem like you think that's a joke.
I mean, Cinderella was like number 1 pick material, right? She was the top pick from the Prince.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, dude. AJ DeBonce's he's a Cinderella man. He gets paid $7 million to play in college at 18 years old. I can't think of more of a Cinderella than AJ DeBonce through all the trials and tribulations of being a millionaire at 18. He'll make it through, man, and no one will have seen it coming.
Team sport, and you said they got nobody. You said they got fucking nobody. If Snowman can pick Nebraska and VCU, I can pick Wright State and BYU.
You can. I think they're dog shit. I'll go. So I get to pick a second one.
You get to pick a second one.
Okay.
If you go with a 31-1 team, pick a 30-2 team.
Okay. It's funny how you're trying to gaslight me into now they're good.
By the way, for the record, Nebraska's plus 10,000 to win the championship, even though they are a 4 seed. So I think maybe I should get a little bit more.
You should.
But then I guess if we're doing that though, then Jeff would definitely get BYU.
Yeah, they're 25,000.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Can I sub BYU for Miami?
Can you sub BYU for Miami? Sure. I think Miami would be a Cinderella for sure. I don't think there's a single person who thinks they could make too big of a run.
Okay. They do play
Purdue. Are you doing it?
Tough. I don't know. I don't have to like, there's no fucking deadline like right now, is there?
Give me Hofstra.
Oh, stop it. Hofstra.
Give me Hofstra, dude. I'm picking real Cinderellas. Have
you seen Hofstra play 1 second of basketball?
What? Yeah, 1 second, sure. But if you started going up to like 20 minutes, I'd have to say no.
Yeah. Well, listen, I like the first round upset, but they're going to lose to Texas Tech. That's what I think is going to happen. Anyways, great stream. Great job. Snowman, again, thank you. I shared your profile in the chat. Make sure you follow Snowman. Steak, enjoy yourself in Chicago. Safe travels. We'll talk later about our plans for the weekend. Snowman, thank you again. Make sure everybody tunes into the Snowman. Thank you, everyone, for joining the Pickett Selection Sunday show. Like and sub.
Jeff, we didn't hear your national champion pick.
So here's the thing. All right. I'm willing to admit when there's going to be chalk. I'm not too contrarian to act like that's not a thing. It's been a thing. And I picked UConn to win my bracket when they were the 1 seed and they were the big favorite. Here's the thing. This is going to be a chalky year. It's very likely it's going to be a chalky year. The top teams are so good. I want to be fun. And I want to give you something outside the box. I don't want to give you Michigan. I don't want to give you Duke. I kind of see what Steak is saying about Arizona, but I'm not going to give you Arizona. I have a bunch of long shots, except like Michigan State. But I got Arkansas, I got Texas Tech, I got Miami, I got Ohio State. None of these teams are doing anything. I'll tell you right now. I'm going to do it. I'm going to get sucked in, and I'm going to do it. The only team I can land on right now that isn't chalk and isn't a worthless long shot is Iowa State.
Cool. I'm fine with that.
Because it's either them or Purdue, and I'm not fucking picking Purdue. Fuck Purdue.
It will not be Purdue.
Will not be Purdue. Who's your national championship pick? Snowman.
So I filled out my initial look bracket. I had Duke, Houston, Arizona, and Iowa State in the Final Four. So I do agree that it's pretty chalky.
Love that.
I had Duke versus Zona in the title game. I went back and forth. And ultimately, I think I settled on Zona. I think I agree with Steak here. I'm siding with Zona.
Duke was coming so quick out of here.
I'm not a Duke fan. I pick them when I think they're going to win. And ultimately, I felt like the defense was not good enough in the ACC tournament compared to what I saw in the regular season. And I think Zona takes care of business there in that one if that's the matchup right now.
I'll say this before we go, Snowman. Mm-hmm. I speak for myself, Jeff Sunday, and everybody in the chat and say we do not believe you when you say you're not a Duke fan.
We don't. I think you are a massive Duke fan. Real quick, because Andrew Hill is a longtime rider and he has a question. With so many conference tournaments having upsets, do you feel upsets continue in the madness or think it levels out with more better seeds advancing? I think it's a little bit of the latter.
Me too.
Yeah, I think it's the latter.
Yeah, the conference tournaments, these guys are really familiar with each other. The coaches are all familiar with the other team's schemes. They've played each other 1 or 2 times already this season. Mm-hmm. Not to mention that as Jeff was saying with Michigan, like he said, Michigan didn't care to win. So these teams, focus and their effort is not as strong as what it's going to be in March Madness. So I think it's probably going to get a little bit more chalky this year, but we've kind of been seeing that trend the last couple of years at March Madness. And I truly believe it's because of the transfer portal and NIL that similarly with, college football, like the lower teams are going to really, really struggle to compete against the top dogs, the top conferences.
Yep. Totally agree. All right, guys.
W's.
Have a great night. Good luck on all your wagers. And we'll see you tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. Good night.
See ya.
Peace, boys.